What is up, my friends? You are very welcome along to tonight's late night agenda, being brought to you with thanks to our friends at Circle, the all-new football sweepstakes game where the winner is decided by what happens on the pitch and every single moment counts. We will be joining our friends at Circle for a game every time England play tomorrow. For the Iran game, it'll be a goal gifter circle, which means whoever's on the top when a goal is scored gets 20% of the pot, and whoever is on the top of the circle at the end of the game will receive the remainder of the pot, whatever is left after, hopefully, many goals have been scored. You can download Circle from your app store or the link in the description. It is 18 plus, UK residents only, and begambleaware.org is there for all of your safer gambling tools. I think, as always, tomorrow it will be a £3 buy into our Circle, and we will be playing along with you. Right, look, let's get stuck into the stories today. The first story I want to speak about is Fabrizio Romano confirming that there's been no negotiations with Liverpool and Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain about him extending his stay at the club. Personally, I have a big soft spot for Alex, both as a fella and for that brilliant season when Coutinho left us. He was so important to us in our run through to the Champions League final. Yes, I know he picked up that awful ACL injury against Roma in the semi-final, but just think back to that season. He really did step up to the mark when Coutinho abandoned us. So I wish him all the best wherever he ends up. Hopefully he can have some impact between now and the end of the season. But he's just one of football's good guys for me, Alex, and I just have nothing but good wishes and good feelings towards him. So yeah, I hope he moves on and settles down somewhere else and gets back to playing regular footy. Now we move on to the incomings, the good stuff, the sexy stuff ahead of the transfer market opening in January. Now, the first story today is kind of an extension to something I mentioned yesterday, and that's the link from Liverpool and other clubs to Chelsea's Mason Mount. This, to me, is a bit of a tough one because, in one sense, I don't think that he's really going to come onto the market. I think this is just agents flushing out pressure onto Chelsea to give him the deal that he wants and letting them know that there will be no shortage of clubs if they decide that they don't want to give him the wages he's looking for. Now, Brad Friedel, former Liverpool goalkeeper, former USA international, says it'd be a perfect fit. And you know what? I don't disagree. I would happily have Mason Mount come in and be part of Liverpool's team, but I don't think it'll happen. So I'm not going to spend too much time on it, but I did want to just bring it to you guys because, again, it's a continuation to what we spoke, or from what we spoke about yesterday. So yeah, I'm going to move on now to other stories that I think may have a little bit more credence. And let's start off with a headline today, and I think it comes from Team Talk, if my memory is correct, who aren't, look, in my estimation, very, very hit and miss. But I like to credit people when we talk about the story. So they have said Liverpool have done major work on Ruben Neves and Konrad Laimer before the January transfer window. Now, a couple of things on this one. Ruben Neves was a name that I was mentioning last summer when we weren't bringing in midfielders. Remember at the time where Matheus Nunes was going from Portugal over to join Wolves, and we were all scratching our heads wondering, why weren't we in for the player? So for me, I was thinking, right, with Neves' contract situation running down at Wolves, might be the time to go in and make a bid. So I'd have no problem with Liverpool going out there and recruiting Ruben Neves. I'm not sure how much it would cost, and I'm not sure if they'd be too open to selling him in January. The fact that they're in the relegation zone as things currently sit, I believe, and they've got a new manager in Julian Lopetegui coming into Molineux. So I don't know what that situation would be. But for me, I mean, he wouldn't be very tippity top of my choices of midfield additions to come in, but he's a fine football player. And I wouldn't be unhappy if Liverpool struck up a deal with Wolves for Ruben Neves. But I wish we had just signed Matheus Nunes when he was leaving to go to Wolves. And I've got a sneaky feeling we may be back in for that dude in the summer. And look, that's another day's story, but that would drive me demented if we allowed him to go to Wolves for a season and then pay more just to bring him in a year later. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's move on to the other player in this story, Konrad Laimer. His contract at Leipzig is up at the end of the season, and that means that, of course, he can sign a pre-contract agreement with any club outside of the Bundesliga or outside of Germany in January when the window opens. Now, there have been strong links and strong stories to suggest that he may be on his way to Bayern Munich, but we do have that advantage, as I said, of being able to negotiate or try to get up to sign a pre-contract agreement. Couple of things to note about Konrad Laimer. Is he a good footballer? Yes. Could he do a job at Liverpool? Yes. Is the fact that he's potentially on a free or a very reduced fee if you get him in January a good idea? Yes. But he is injury prone. At least from what I've been looking into, he has had his fair share, and we need bodies in midfield who are going to be fit and available and not another set of potentially injury prone players. So I'd be a little bit skeptical from that side about Konrad Laimer, but with regards to the guy's footballing ability, no problem, especially on a free transfer if you bring him in that way. Of the two, without a doubt, I'd prefer us to be bringing in Ruben Neves. But when we speak about Neves, when we speak about Fabinho, we speak about Thiago and all those players who can play in a six, I just wonder what the plan is for Bajcetic in the long term, because I've been absolutely blown away by his quality at such a young age. Then, of course, we have Tyler Morton, who still has to continue to develop. But I'm just wondering, we do need midfielders, but I wonder if Klopp will view it as maybe blocking a pathway through if we were to bring in another number 6. And of course, I think N'Golo Kante is out of contract at the end of this season at Chelsea as well. So let me know if you think he'd be worth a punt. Now we move on to the last story I have for you guys today. And that is around the Kvaradona. That's all I'm going to say about this guy, because I still can't pronounce his name properly. And I don't want to disrespect him by not getting his name correct. There has been stories today that suggest a couple of things. That Liverpool, amongst a whole host of other European clubs, are looking at bringing the Georgian winger in. But it looks like Napoli want to keep him, and Napoli want to give him an improved deal that would see him staying. So, I mean, Napoli are building something. So, I don't think they're going to want to sell a star player this quickly. Now, every player, of course, does have a price. And De Laurentiis didn't really get that price for Koulibaly for a very long time, and Chelsea ended up coming in and getting him for a reduced fee as he was running down his deal, and he was getting older, of course, as well at Napoli. I don't think Napoli will be open to a sale unless it's a ridiculous number. Now, I know he excites a lot of us. He gets us up off our seats, and he's a very talented footballer. But if you're talking maybe a fee of 80, 85 million quid, I have to say I'd take a pass, because right now I don't think that it will be worth committing that amount of money to a wide forward, as good as he is, because for me, midfield and potentially a centre-back would be the positions I'd be looking to strengthen. Yes, long term, we could look at another wide player, but for me right now, I don't think we're in desperation stakes there yet, particularly as well with the news that Bobby Firmino is in negotiations with Liverpool about extending his deal. Now, I know, of course, he's not a wide player, but he's another attacking option that we currently have, but we were scheduled to lose at the end of the season. The talk around Bobby, as I said yesterday, is a 2-year deal with the option of a 3rd year. I'm not sure if that option would fall on Liverpool's side, on Bobby's side, or on both sides of who could trigger that. But for me, that works as long as the wages are realistic and he's not going up to 250 grand a week or something like that. So that's pretty much it for me today, my friends. We did talk about Mason Mount, of course. Let me know, would you take him at Liverpool? Do you think he's a good fit? Do you agree with me that it's most likely Chelsea, or his agent, I should say, trying to flush out a better deal from Chelsea? We did speak about Ruben Neves and Konrad Laimer as well, and also about Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, who will not be entering into negotiations over a new deal at Liverpool. So look, I hope to see you tomorrow. I'll be doing the watch along of the England-Iran game starting from midday on our Twitch channel. As I said, we'll be running a goal gifter circle with the friends at Circle as well. Then we're going to be taking you right through. So from 12 p.m. to 9 p.m. tomorrow, Anfield Agenda will be streaming live on Twitch for the 3 of the games. So hope you can join us for that. I'll be doing one, Paddy will be doing the other, and Chris then is doing the Wales game of the evening. I will talk to you then. Have a lovely Sunday evening. Thank you. Bye-bye.